So we are going to be building an expense tracker. So you can see the app on my phone and also the design I built this from on the left part of my screen. So you can see when I mean my phone, I mean this Android emulator. So you can see I added some couple of transactions I made recently. I'm not talking about for real. I'm just talking about within the app, and I can actually delete some of my transaction. And when I delete this, when you watch on the income price, is going to reduce, and also it's going to reduce from my expense because those transactions are no more in my state. We are going to also be working with Redux and also Redux Dunk in order for us to make a perfect application. So I'm just going to quickly add a transactions. Let's say I'm going to add my launch. I think I deleted my launch, so I'm going to add it again. And let's say I added a launch of I added a launch of 60, and I'm going to add that transaction. And when I come back here, you can see this red color text showing us that this is a negative transaction, or this is a transaction that I just spent some money on. And you can see on my expense is going to add that to my already existing expense, but it's going to definitely reduce that for my income totally. So I can add as many items I want to add, or as many expense I want to add, but this is exactly what you are going to be building. If you're a beginner or if you are an advanced user, this tutorial can also help you to improve in some areas of your career path, and also is a kind of a crash course for new beginners. So let's get started. But before we do that, if you're a football or sports fan, check on my description. You're going to see a link to FFS HD official for watching football reviews or sports reviews. So thank you. Make sure you hit the like button and also the subscribe button. Now let's get started. Right now, let's go ahead and initialize a new React Native application. So it's not recommended that you install React Native globally because sometimes it does not actually give you a stable version. So the way we can actually grab a stable version from React Native is to use the nph flag. Then we can type down React Native init. Then we can type down whatever we want our app name to be. So I'm just going to term this expense app or wallet app. So I'm just going to hit enter. So let's just give this a couple of seconds. Once this is done, we can then continue from there. So our app is done initializing. I'm just going to quickly switch into the wallet app. Now there are some couple dependencies we are going to be working with. The first one is I'm just going to use yon. I'm not going to be using the npm flag because I just want to make things more simpler for myself. So you can just do things the way you like, but I'm just going to install Redux Dunk because we are going to be working with all this. Also, I'm going to install native base. I'm going to also install React Native navigation, but for now we're going to do that from their website, from the official from the official docs of their websites. So let me just go ahead and install React Native gesture handler. So while I'm installing this, maybe in the future we are still going to make some changes to this application, maybe adding some animation and some cool effects. So that's why I'm installing all this for now. We're also going to be installing React Native SVG. Actually, we don't really need this, but let me just install it. We also have to install React Native vector icons. Also React Redux, because whenever you're using Redux, you must install this to get the provider. Also, we have to install React Native Reanimated. So all these dependencies, I'm going to make available the code so that you can have it. I'm going to put a GitHub repo link so that you can have it. So you don't really need to bother. Maybe you can just go grab it and put it down so that it can be fast for you. So we have to install React Native. It's called React Native Community /2 Android. Actually, we don't need this, but let's just install all these things because of the future. So let me just quickly hit enter. So it says cannot find Redux. Yon. Okay, sorry guys, we didn't use the yon add flag, so we just kind of just type down the package names so we can put the add flag. So let's just allow this to finish, then we can continue, and that is done. So right now let's go over to React Navigation official website to install everything that we need from there. So on the docs page, just come over to getting started. First thing is to install this, so I'm just going to hit on the copy. Just going to quickly do that. So while that's been installing, so just scroll a little bit down, you could see other options. Grab this. All these are the things I kind of installed, but just hit on copy and still grab that. And let's just give this a couple of seconds and paste that and hit enter. So the next thing now is to make use of this inside our app.js. But I think I'm not just going to copy this, because I'm just going to grab some codes from the repo and put down so that you can see how I organized everything. Or I kind of have a change of mind, because I really want some beginners to grab this quickly. So I think the best thing I can do is not only to grab this from my from the GitHub section of this code, but rather let's just go ahead and do this quickly. So let's just come over to the app.js, and we can just clear everything here. So I'm just going to scroll down immediately. You can just clear everything. We can quickly paste this, and that says everything looks correct. So we can just export defaults, and let's save that. So the next step is to go over to continue to Hello React Navigation. Then you can as well install some things. I think we already did this. Okay, let's just install that quickly so that we don't have a problem in our application. Then these are the things that we can as well do. Actually you can bring in your already created components, and also you can now register that in your start screen. So I'm just going to quickly come over to your project folder, create a folder called source. So why I'm just doing this gradually is because I want new beginners to have understanding of this. So I'm just going to term this home screen.js. I'm going to be using RAFS. So RAFS is what I use to bring down my components. If you want that, just quickly come over here, search for React, and you can see ES7 React Redux GraphQL and all the things that is listed there. But this is exactly the one I'm using right now. That's why you can see me type down that little short code, and it's going to bring this down for me. So it's just a functional based component with div. Of course, you're not working with DOM, so I'm just going to get rid of that. And at the top here, I'm going to quickly import from React Native. So I'm just going to bring in view and the text. Just going to wrap this text inside the view. Just going to write down home screen. So we can just do this way, but rather let's just clear that. At the bottom, export default home screen, and let's save. And here the recommendation is saying that let's just quickly, since everything look alike, we can just quickly grab this line of code, and I think I have to replace that. So let me just quickly replace that, and then yeah, so I'll just quickly replace that and export the default app, so that right at the top we can bring in our components. So if you have multiple components, you can just bring it down and you can just register it as app home screen from. We are the same level folder. I'm just going to go over to source. I think I have to move this into components, so I don't want it to be just on the source folder. I'm just going to grab this and put it there and move source components / home screen. So I'm just going to save that. So from the steps we've taken so far, if everything we did went correctly, our app is going to run without a problem. So right now, let's go ahead and type Yon Android. So it's going to automatically link everything for us. Then it's going to think, okay, I don't understand why you're on Android. Okay, I used the wrong spelling. But if everything went perfectly, we have to see our app running without issues. So while you try to run at the application, you are going to be faced with this Gradle, downloading Gradle. So I just suggest that you terminate that. All you just have to do is to come over to Google. You can search for the Gradle distribution URL. You can go over to their website, the official docs. I think you should use the second link, not the first one. The second one has a distribution URL. Then you can grab that distribution URL because that's the latest. So I already have this on my system, but I'm just going to copy that. But do make sure you copy it. So I'm just going to grab this line of code, and I'm going to come over to Android app, or not app, Gradle properties, and you have to replace the distribution URL with that you grabbed. So you save that, and once again you can run the application. So it's actually telling us that it couldn't find create start navigator. That's because we did not actually import it at the top. So I'm just going to quickly do that, and we are getting that from React navigation stack. So we can bring in the create start navigation. What did I do? Okay, so I'm just going to quickly save that, and it's going to refresh the application for us and give us the result again. So right now you can see our application is running perfectly and we don't have any issue. So I'm going to create another component inside our components folder. I'm going to create another component called add transaction. I'm just going to do what I did before, arrows FC. So I'm just going to clear that, import from React Native. So guys, my neighbors are actually speaking downstairs, so sorry for that little noise you can hear. So I'm just going to bring down the text, but make sure that your text usually start with capital letters. I'm just going to term this add transaction, and lastly we can export that function, but I don't want it exported at the top. I want it at the bottom. Export default add transaction. And that's it, and I can quickly come to our app.js file. So all I just have to do is to register that. I can import add transaction from source components / add transaction. So right here, just grab that, and I will change this to add, and lastly change it to add transaction. So it's just going to be something like registering your route. So that's exactly what I did here. So the next thing we are going to do now is to connect our Redux. Remember that we installed our dependency. Remember that we installed Redux as one of the dependencies we are going to be using. So you can see, I think I have it there. So you can see Redux and Redux Tongue. So that's the next step we are going to be doing right now.